You know when you're leaning on her.
Well, I don't mean to.
You sure about that?
Well, maybe just a little bit.
Well, okay, but none of that tonight, all right?
All right.
Here comes your mother now, okay? Now let's show her a real good time.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello, Sue. Sorry, I'm late.
All right. This. Here.
Come on, Mom. I wasn't that dumb. I didn't say you were dumb. I said you were adorable. Yeah, but I just don't see how you can be adorable with two big white gaps in your mouth. Oh, you don't know how much I love that toothless grin. You really was adorable.
I'm afraid if I answer that, I'm going to end up with a few missing teeth myself.
Yeah. How old was I when I broke my elbow?
7.
I fell out of a tree or something, didn't I?
Well, what you really did was you fell from one tree to another.
Well, how did I manage to do that? Oh, well, I think it's called Tarzan-ing.
Accompanied by a great deal of chumming.
Did I cry?
Well, of course you did. Who wouldn't?
I remember Dad putting a lot of heavy books in his briefcase and then making me carry him around after I got my splint taken off. Boy, I thought that was so dumb.
Well, I know you did at the time, but if your dad hadn't made you that, you wouldn't have the nice straight arm that you have today.
How'd you know it was me?
I know everything. At least to see you're punctual, at least.
Yeah, I knocked and I waited until I got a response. Did you notice?
I notice everything, too.
I'm becoming aware of that.
Finished your article?
Yeah, I really wrote up a storm. I think you'll like it. In fact, I think you'll flip over it.
Let it speak for itself, Abbott. You don't have to sell it.
Oh, sure, I know. I just meant I really
I know what you meant. Don't be so damn eager all the time, okay?
Oh, I can't be blasé when it comes to writing.
Well, try and learn.
Yes, sir. I just learned.
You see the staff photographer?
Yeah, he took some shots of my head wound. Hey, he really got the great close-up. Joe! Operator, get me Lambview Hospital. It's an emergency. Quick. Hello? This is Richard Abbott. Abbott! I'm at the Banner. I need an ambulance here, quick. In Joe Riley's office. Yes, at the Banner. Joe, can you hear me? Wake up. Speak, move, do something. Come on.
Hello, Dr. Johnson here.
Peter, thank God.
Who is this?
It's Richard Abbott. I'm in Joe's office at the Banner. Something's wrong with Joe.
What is it?
I don't know what happened. He was reading and then he got a, I don't know, convulsion or something. He passed out.
All right, I'll get an ambulance.
No, don't do that. I did that already. Just come over here.
I'm on the way.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, Jenny. Good to see you.
Hello.
See you for dinner?
Yes.
Oh, good. You know, Karen, I think probably planned a family dinner that might not be enough. Oh, come on. Well, she always makes more than enough. She told me what she was making this morning, and it's
Chicken and wine sauce.
chicken and wine sauce specialty. You may not know this, but my wife is turning into quite the gourmet cook, so you wouldn't want to miss that, would you? Well, I guess I'll stay. All right. Excuse me. Let me see if I can help out.
Well,
Jenny, what were you going to say? Well, I was just going to say I had no idea that you were going to be here. Larry invited me home for dinner.
I know you wanted to leave for my sake, but it wasn't necessary. Bound to happen without to run into each other like this. I just hope that someday we can be in the same room without that terrible memory of what happened.
I want that to happen more than anything else in the world. For both of us to forget that. Well, there, it's all set. The chef says absolutely no one will go home hungry tonight.
Well, why don't I help her then?
Oh, thanks. Please, sit down. Yeah. So tell me, what did you think of the free clinic? Well, I was very impressed. I think you do quite a lot there with very little. Yeah, well, I'll tell you, it's lack of equipment, supplies, enough to drive us crazy. It's a challenge. Still, it's not the sort of place where you snap your fingers and 6 nurses come running. Excuse me a second. Sure. Hello. Yeah, Dr. Wolek here. Oh, hi, Sandy. Hi. Yeah, what's up? Uh-huh. Well, listen. No, hold on to the line. I'm going into the study. Take this in there. My notes on that patient are in the study. Yeah, good. Just hold on. I'll grab it. Please excuse me, well, it's free clinic. I'll be right back. Okay, Erika, hold on. I inherited them from my mother. But I sure as hell did not inherit them from you. My God. Did a son ever hate his father the way you hate me? I don't want to take all the credit for that. Look at the motivation you've given me. I mean, you killed my mother, you go after my girl. It's not like I won this hate contest all by myself. God help us both, Bruce. And where are you running off to now? You gonna go tell Jenny about Lana? I can see a doctor, super psychiatrist there, giving her all the sordid little details because he doesn't want her to get hurt. I mean, is that right? Did I call that shot, Dad? I have no intention of seeing you. Well, if you do, we both know what the motivation will be. He'd gladly spill your guts to her about my alleged affair with Lana, just so you could win a few points for yourself. Isn't that true? If I told Jenny that Brad is seeing Lana, would I be doing it for Jenny's sake or my own? Did you get a call about 15 minutes ago to send an ambulance over to the Banner to Joe Riley's office? Oh, where the hell is it? I know you've got a lot of emergencies, but that is... Send it! Joe, you all right? Easy, huh? You're all right. You're all right. Did I do this? No, I did it. Something came over you, I don't know what. These things happen. Well, this was something, all right. Just take it easy, huh? The ambulance will be here in a few minutes. Ambulance? Yeah, ambulance. Ambulance! Look, I don't want an ambulance. I don't need an ambulance. Look, sir, with all due respect, I don't think you can be a judge of that right now. Just a minute. I fainted, that's all. Haven't you ever fainted? No, I can't say that I have. Well, that's why, Pete. You know, it's like it happens to all kinds of people all the time. There's nothing to it. I know why it happened. I haven't eaten all day. I missed dinner last night. I've been working too hard lately. That's all. Sir, I may not have fainted myself, but I've seen other people faint, and that's not what happened to you. You had a convulsion, a seizure or something. Damn it, to have it, you're not on the 40 on everything that happens in this world. Pete, listen to me. You get on that boat. And you cancel that ambulance. You understand what I mean? You cancel it. I mean, you listen to me. If I want a medical opinion, I'll call the doctor, okay? Hey, get going. Now do it now. Do it right now. What the hell are you doing? Well, I called him. What was I supposed to do? Say the ambulance can't get here in time. You're a regular little Florence Nightingale, aren't you? All right. Now look, Joe, I just want you to tell me exactly what happened here.
So, Larry told me you'd like to start doing some work at the free clinic.
Yes, a couple of nights a week.
You doctors never seem to find enough work to do, huh?
I guess not. Actually, it'll be dealing with psychological problems in a different way, which should be interesting.
You'll have no appointments. You never know what's going to happen until people just show up.
Exactly. I think I was getting a little comfortable behind my desk. Private conversations, consultations to doctors, talking to my private patients.
So means you make good money.
More than I need. That's why I think I was going to give up a little time, free of charge to people who couldn't afford my services.
Well, I think I've heard that story somewhere before.
Well, I'm sorry. There's been an emergency at the clinic. There's been a fellow who's come into the clinic for one thing or another over the last few months. And, he's always claiming that his brother's out to get him, that sort of thing. I figured he was paranoid, but this time he came in with a couple of small stab wounds, so you never could tell.
Maybe I ought to go over there. Maybe I can help. I sure appreciate it.
I don't suppose that the dinner is almost ready. We may just...
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, let's turn it off.
Thank you. We'll be right back. Fast as you can.
Mark my words. By the time those two come walking back in that door, my wine glass will be crushed on the bottom of the pan. Why don't you just take take it out and put it back. I will, Jenny. It's the principle of the thing. Karen, it's an emergency. After all, that's important. Man was wounded. Yeah, okay. But you know what's going to happen. Sure, they're going to get in there. One thing is going to lead to another, and pretty soon, before you know it, they're going to both be all involved in. What we're talking about is a late dinner. Johnny, you don't have to live with a man who breaks in every stray cat he finds. I do. I get a little tired sometimes of wearing concern over everybody else but me. I can understand that. Well, Vernon obviously is somewhat the same. Family probably never saw him either. Well, after everything that's happened to him, I'm sure that he has to keep occupied right now. Okay, fine, but you just don't have to say that you're going to have dinner with me and then skip out like that. Karen, aren't you ever going to have any compassion? Just a little? Oh, come on, this is going to be Karen, you're such a bad person thing again. I mean, you think I get used to that, but I don't. Aren't you being a little dramatic? No, I don't think so. All I ever hear about are all the faults that I have. I never hear about any virtues whatsoever. You know, I'm beginning to think I don't even have any.
Abbott, get off my desk.
Joe, how did you feel when you came to? Come on.
Wonderful.
Joe, I felt groggy. How the hell do you feel when you come out of a thing like that?
Well, thank you very much.
Sorry to have troubled you, dear. The ambulance is canceled. Good. That's all I need is an ambulance roaring up to the front door of the Banner. Two guys dragged me out of here in a stretcher. I ended up on the front page of my own damn newspaper. Look, I'm sorry it bothered you. Okay. I was looking out for your welfare. You're welcome. That's it. Now, look, Joe. From what he's told me and from what you said, I don't think you just fainted. Believe me when I tell you, I fainted. Joe, when you faint, you usually get nauseous, and then things slowly go black. That's not what happened with you. Now, I think this is something else. Level with you. I know. It's exactly what happened. I got nauseous and things went black, and I was like, look, I've already seen a doctor, okay, so just drop it. All right, well, what did the doctor say? Said
so sure about that. Look, I want you to come to Lambview, and I want to come
Oh,
to
I already told you I've seen a doctor. Okay, I've had
I know that, but another opinion is...
Oh, wait, not gonna... I said, oh, wait, I'm going home for this.
Oh, and Abbott, I'm going to take your story with me and read it. It better be good. All right, please. Here, your toys. Thank you. Come on. Look, I'm fine, all right? I'd appreciate it if you forget what happened here, all right?
I'm fine, Abbott.
reacting?
Felt like such a damn fool trying to convince Peter that I just fainted.
He didn't believe you.
No, I didn't. Furthermore, Richard saw it was more than that. I just came out of the whole thing looking like an idiot.
Joe, everything will be all right.
No, it's a mess. I want to end up, I should have gone with Peter to Landview Hospital and gone through those tests again for him.
Why? You'd have the same test that you've already had at Richmond Memorial with the same results.
Yes, but the truth would have been out, wouldn't it? I wouldn't have had to go on playing this game with Viki and now other people.
Joe, I really understand how you feel, and it's awful to be deceitful, period. Let alone to someone that you love as much as Viki.
And I don't want to have to go through that again.
Of course not. But you must remember that in 1 week, you're to report back to New York City for your new CAT scan. And then we'll have all the results, and we'll know exactly what's happened to you. So don't say anything to anyone until then. For Vicky's sake. As well as Kendall.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I mean, Will and Mary said they would be right back to the free clinic, and they're not here yet. God's me or something. Well, that's bad for you. He never does change. Actually, Karen, I think he has changed a little bit. What? His wardrobe? Karen, I'm serious. After everything that's happened to him, I think it's made him think a little bit. I think he's realized that he's thrown away part of his life and he wants to change. But can he? I think he's shown some signs of maturity yet. Well, he's certainly sucked you back in again, that's for sure. Look, I don't want to talk about this right now. I think I just want to get home. Maybe he can find me there. Look, if he does come here and Will is here, don't let him in, okay? Just tell him where I am. All right, bye-bye.
Bye, Karen. I'm sorry, honey.
I know something came up. Right?
Yeah,
And then
right.
something else came up, and then...
I'm sorry, Karen. Jenny, you leaving?
Yes, I have to explain that. Unfortunately, she doesn't care for dried up sticks and breath.
Well, I love him. I can take you home.
That will be necessary, Will. Thank you. Thank you for going. I'm sorry I have to leave early.
We'll do this again. Next time I'll do the cooking. So if I have to leave, I'll do my own dinner now, Karen.
Okay, that's the deal.
Oh. Jenny, I'm sorry. I didn't expect to see you here. No, I don't expect you did. All right, Brad? I'm fine. It's fine.
I think we're going to get going back.
Okay. John, nice to see you. You too, Brad. Jenny?
Yeah?
Well, I guess I better be going too. Well, why don't you stick around? We'll have a drink. I mean, we haven't even had dinner yet. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I need to stay. So long.
Oh, good night, Susan.
Well, I've done some other stuff. Bye. Well, so much for happy people and happy dinner parties.
Jenny and Will are so miserable, and I hate to see that.
You know, Brad doesn't seem very happy.
I just wonder how this whole thing's going to resolve itself.
Well, it's getting late. I guess I better go home.
That's probably Viki. Excuse me. Hello? Joe? It's Peter. Did I wake you? No, I'm not going to bed for a while yet. Good. Because I'm on my way over. I want to talk to you about what happened today. Oh, look, thanks. Ridiculous.
Joe, I said I'm on my way over.
Peter, coming over, you want to discuss what happened today?
Well, I better stay here then. Be here when it gets here.
Well, that's not necessary. I can handle it. Besides, he'd get suspicious if you defended me, wouldn't he? After all, you're not supposed to know anything about this, right?
That's what we got. All right. Joe, just remember that Peter and Viki are very friendly.
I'll see you
There now.
Sure. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate that. Just listen. Riley! Now you just lie back down and stay that way. That was very bright. Getting your heart going like a jackhammer. I've got things to do. No, you've got just one thing to do. Concentrate on getting well. Yeah. And how do I do that? By keeping this body so perfectly still that it can heal. Tony, you're in no shape to start climbing the walls. Believe me, the moment you are, we want you out of here. We'll get you out. What do I do in the meantime? In the meantime, I'll order restraints if I have to. No, I'll order some more medication to help keep you quiet. Oh, no medication. I'll be cool, I promise. That stuff gets my head all fuzzy, and I can't think straight. Yeah, well, it seems to me that your thinking has been getting you into trouble. What's the problem, Tony? I've got a lot to lose by being in here. You've got a lot more to lose by getting out of here too soon. What are you worried about? Fat. And Brian, they're both fine. They seem so far away. And I don't think I'm part of their lives anymore. All right. I'll tell Pat that she can visit you as often as she likes. How's that? Great. But what about Brian? I keep asking you to let him come and see me. It's like talking to a brick wall. Okay. I'll discuss it with Pat in the morning. You'll get a definite answer. Thanks. Okay. I want you to get some sleep. Now, that's an order. Good night. Good night.
Mom, do we have any cinnamon sticks?
I think that we have just gone into lot number 97 to stay up. What do you want cinnamon sticks for?
Well, don't you know? You remember, don't you, Dad?
I sure do.
Oh, of course I remember. Iced tea stirred with a cinnamon stick, right?
Boy, it's been a long time since I've had that, but I remember the taste exactly.
Yeah, me too. I remember we used to have it before we went to bed. And while we were drinking it, we'd tell each other what happened that day, whether it was good or bad. Remember?
Yeah, I remember. Well, I see that we're all going to have the same drink, and we're going to have the same kind of conversation that we used to.
Yeah, sort of liked it.
So did I.
Okay. I'll go in the kitchen and get the iced tea.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Hey, don't forget the cinnamon sticks, huh?
I won't. And I would like to add that you are as much of a boy as he is.
I think I agree with you about that. So, how do you like the therapy results?
Well, I'd say it's a super duper A+ night.
Okay.
I just don't want you to go back to the hotel. No. Go by yourself.
The workup that was done on you at Lambview doesn't indicate anything about seizures. I've already checked that.
It didn't have the tests at Lambview Hospital.
All right, where'd you have it done?
Richmond Memorial. I checked in, they wired me up, took x-rays, and couldn't come up with one damn reason for the seizures.
Then you've had more than one.
All right, I admit it to you. They're getting more frequent and worse.
Thank God, man, you've been under incredible pressure. All right, what did the test show?
Absolutely nothing.
All right, we'll do more.
It's a waste of time. I've already been to New York. I've seen a specialist for that CAT scan thing.
You even know about that?
Yeah, this head's been around, pal.
All right. What did the scan show?
Nothing. I couldn't get a clear picture. They told me to come back in 3 months, and said then perhaps I could see more.
When are you going back?
In a week or so.
But you've known about this thing for 3 months?
Yeah, more or less.
Well, things start to make some sense, you know? I mean, the pieces just start to fit together a little bit. I mean, why does Joe Riley use a chauffeur-driven limousine, huh? And you don't drink, right down to the point of refusing Dorian's 100-year-old brandy. And for one thing doesn't fit in. Viki.
What about Viki?
Well, Joe, she's not the kind of person to go off on a vacation in the mountains and leave you alone with a thing like this.
mess that was. That's kind of funny, too. Tell me the story.
Well, your mother and I were still sleeping, but you got up early, and you went out and you rounded up all the dogs in the neighborhood. You brought them home, and you had bowls on the floor, and you were just sitting there pouring milk on the bowls and the dogs on the floor and everywhere. And I came in, you were just really having a good time. So I went and I got your mother, and we stood there and watched you, and you had no idea we were there, because you were just standing there going, oh, have some more milk, oh.
So what'd you do then?
Well, then we cleared all the dogs out of the kitchen.
And cleaned up. I mean, having all of those dogs for breakfast can be quite a mess, you know?
Yeah, but I bet they had fun.
Oh, yeah, they had fun. I mean, they were very happy, and so were you.
Right. And now, young man, I think it's about time that you hit the sack.
Yeah, but Mom hasn't told us what the good thing that happened to us today.
Well, I think we all know what that is.
You mean that we did something together and we had fun?
Right. And we could still enjoy each other's company. Now, let's go. Off you go.
Okay. Hey, Dad. You know that raft that we've been building?
Yeah?
Well, how about on Sunday take it and go have a picnic, you know, and then launch it? Does that sound good?
Well, Brian, why don't we talk about it tomorrow, okay?
Sure.
Good night.
Good night.
I'd offer you a penny for your thoughts, but I think that I might know what they are. We still have a lot going for us as a family. But there's still Tony, isn't there? I understand. Well, I guess I better be going. Night, Brian.
Good night, Dad. Well, I'm sort of feeling happy inside. Because now I know that you really love Dad.
You tell me that you have been having these attacks for 3 months now, and Viki knows nothing about it. Nope, not a thing. Well, why not, Joe? I mean, I suppose it's none of my business, but look, I happen to care a great deal about the two of you. I mean, you've got about the best marriage I know going. And when I've said that to Viki, she said it was because you learned from your past mistakes, that once the two of you had a lie between you. But now you know that you have to keep things open and honest and communicate, not withhold things, and that's where the love comes from.
You think I haven't run that through my mind 1,000 times? It finally looked as though we had a little happiness in our lives. And this happened. I didn't want to break the balloon for Viki. I wanted her to go on thinking everything was all right for a little while longer anyways. So I shielded her.
Sure, Joe, but you see, in doing that, I mean, you took on a problem that's just too much for any one person to handle. I mean, it's one thing to have a personal problem. It's another thing to have to hide that problem from someone you love. And it's just too tough. All right, how did all this start?
Problems with my eyes, the vision was blurry, and headaches.
Can you tell me about the headaches?
Bad. Very bad. During one of the headaches, I had a convulsion. I passed out. I should have told Viki then, but I wanted to wait until the doctors got together and figured out what was wrong with me. Turned out they didn't know any more than I did. So I just waited rather than cause Viki any more worry.
Oh, Joe, sorry. See, I don't understand that kind of decision. I mean, this is something that you should share with Viki. I think it's something Viki would want you to share with her. Now, something here doesn't make any sense. See, you use a chauffeur-driven limousine. I mean, you don't drive. And you don't drink. And yet you stay here all alone. Do you have any idea how dangerous that is to you in your condition? Let me tell you what, you have a seizure, you fall down and hurt yourself. I'll tell you, you stay on the floor until what, your cleaning lady finds you in the morning? Why, Joe? I didn't want to hurt Viki or Kevin. Just hurt them. I mean, how can you hurt them? But the medication I was taking, it lost its effect and things got worse. Specifically, in what way did they get worse? I became violent. Violent? All right, when did this happen? About 2 weeks ago, Lanfair in the state. How do you know that it happened? I saw it with my own eyes. You mean to tell me that you remembered? I don't remember, but when I came to, I could see that the room... Hell of a mess. Top of that, I terrified Dorian. Tore her dress. Dorian? She was there when it happened. And Dorian Willard knows all about this. She has from the beginning. She was with me when I had my first seizure. She's a doctor, so she took over. And she checked you into Richmond Memorial, didn't she? I mean, that's where she's still affiliated. That's right. She took care of everything. All I had to do was bring myself. Joe, what about the CAT scan? Did the doctors at Richmond recommend that? No. Well, they told me there was nothing wrong. Dorian was the one that found out they had this CAT scanner in New York City, the most sophisticated, the latest piece of apparatus. Hey, Joe, how many of these violent attacks have you had? Violent? Just that one at Lanfair. I must have been quite shocked. I mean, I certainly would have been. She tried to help, but there wasn't much she could do. She told me I fought it instead of going with it. So that's why I became violent. Ever since then, I've been terrified of being alone with Kevin or Viki. Joe, what kind of medication do you take? I got it here. Yeah, there you go. Dorian gets those for me. I'm popping them like they were candies. For all the good they've done me, I just as well be candies. This whole thing must seem like a long nightmare to you. Yeah, it's not over yet. Here, I'm going to have to ask you to give me your word that you'll keep this confidential, especially since Viki doesn't know anything about it. All right, Joe, you've got my word. But I'm not through with this. First thing in the morning, I think I'd better check with the doctors at Richmond Memorial. I mean, that's if it's all right with you. Do whatever you like. I'll just tell you what they told me. There's nothing can be done. You're just going to have to wait. Gentlemen, let's get one thing understood. There are a lot of people here who care about you. And there's no reason that you should have to go through this thing all alone. Just wanted to hear your voices one more time, Jimmy. To tell you that was the nicest evening we've had for a long time. Yeah, I felt very close to you. No, I'm going to go to sleep. Think about holding you, about kissing you. Good night, Jimmy. I love you.
Hi. Are you surprised to see me?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, I am.
Well, I tried to call you to tell you I'd be thrilled if his business with Fuccello Tony's, but I didn't get any answer. And then when I called back, the line was busy.
I went out for a long walk.
I wish I could have been with you.
So do I. I got lonesome, so I decided to come back here and wait.
Did you try to call me? Is that why the phone was busy?
No, that was good old Dorian wanting to chew on my ear.
He's got a nerve calling you this late.
Because she's a very lonely woman. She doesn't have anything better to do with her time. And you know why she's a very lonely woman?
Why?
Because she isn't soft and warm the way you are. She never looked at anyone the way you're looking right now. She'd never think the thoughts that you're thinking right now, either.
Yeah? How do you know what I'm thinking?
Eyes have a certain look. Their mouth is so warm, so soft.
So we're just going to talk about it?
No, as a matter of fact, I'm going to check it out very thoroughly. See if her mouth is really as soft and warm as it looks.
And Mom, don't forget my scout book. It tells me how to cook fish on a stick. Oh, hi, Dad.
Good morning, Skipper.
Really? Okay, listen. I got the route all figured out. See, if we get lost around here, we can camp out over here. See the stream? It's filled with trout, and we can fish in there and cook fish on a stick.
Well, looks like we're all set then.
Brian, I just tried opening up your closet door and realized I was taking my life into my own hands. Now I think you ought to get up there and get the hiking boots yourself, because somehow I think you know how to open that door without causing an avalanche.
Boy, mothers think the dumbest things are so important.
Get the boots. Never mind the philosophy about mothers.
And you're going to clean that closet when you come home. Dad, let's get lost in the woods, please.
Good morning. I wanted to tell you how much I enjoyed our evening last night.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I didn't get much sleep.
Neither did I.
I kept thinking about you. Remembering a lot of things. We still have a lot going between us. I can feel it, and I think that you can too.
Okay, Dad. Let's go before she makes me eat another breakfast and makes me clean the bathroom.
Okay.
You there?
Thank you, Teresa. I like it.
Let's go scouting.
Okay.
Let's go.
Bye, Mom. Well, you're here early. Oh, Brad, you look so dedicated. I'm so dedicated, I never even left. Oh, hey, I bet it's neat here at night when everybody's gone. You know, skinny dipping in the pool at midnight. I love that. Well, aren't you going to ask me what I'm doing here so early for an exercise class? Yeah. How come? Because I am doing everything that is expected of me because I am going to become Grandview's perfect housewife. Karen, that's nice. Now, to tell you the truth, I've been kind of worried about you. I kept wondering how long Larry would put up with you. Put up with me? What about me putting up with Larry? I mean, you don't have to sit home every night with him and listen to all his wonderful goody-two-shoes stories about all his wondrous deeds at the free clinic and then just browse through the medical journals with him every night. And that time he's so exhausted, he just goes to bed very tired every night. Sometimes I don't think you love him at all. Of course I love you, Lana. I think that I'm just going to spend the rest of my life like this. I mean, my whole existence just trying to get a little smile out of Larry. I think that maybe I just might go jump off a bridge if that happens, or take a plane to San Francisco. And what would you do there? Probably have a lot more fun than I'm having here. Oh, I don't know. I guess I'm just not... I'm beginning to think that I'm not made for that one-on-one relationship. What do you mean? You know, one man to love until death do you part. I don't know it. You know, when you first go out with someone and they can't take their eyes off you and they go crazy at the smell of your perfume. And then they want to hold you just a little bit and you let them hold you sometimes and then they just go crazy and they can't stand to be away from you. I miss that. I really miss those first moments.
Well, he's all right this morning. But I must say that last night he managed to give himself some unnecessary pain.
What happened?
Well, Tony decided he was going to get out of bed, even out of the hospital.
Well, what did you do?
I'm afraid that he's beginning to feel a little isolated here, a little abandoned here in the hospital.
Well, what can we do about it? I don't like him feeling that way.
That's the point, Pat. He wants to see you. So I told him he could. But he also wants very badly to see Brian. He's obsessed with that thought. So I thought about it. And I decided I'd bend the hospital rules a little and let you bring the boy in for a visit.
You already told Tony that?
No, I thought I'd leave that to you. What's wrong, Pat?
Well, if Tony is going to see Brian, then I'm going to have to ask Brian to lie, and I don't like doing that.
No, you don't have to ask him to lie. Just ask him not to say anything to Tony about Paul. I'm sure he'll understand.
Have you seen Brian lately?
No, I haven't.
If you had, you'd understand why I'm so worried. He's totally involved with Paul, and Paul loves him so much that he's giving back just as much as he's getting.
And I suspect that's exactly the kind of relationship with Brian that Tony is hoping for.
Yes, of course. I mean, Tony's going to expect him to run to him and hug him. And I know Brian's not going to do that. He's just going to stand there. And he resents Tony very much now. I mean, he feels that he's a threat to his happiness with Paul.
Well, it's a different light on things. I mean, we had some trouble with Tony last night. But from what you tell me, a visit from Brian could make matters even worse for him.
Well, then can I please just tell him that you refuse to give permission, just for the time being?
Sure. You tell him whatever you think best. I'll back you up. How do you know I won't get violent again?
Somehow, Joe, I just don't think that's going to happen. As a matter of fact, I can almost promise you it won't.
Well, maybe you know something I don't know. If it's happened once, it could happen again. And I don't want to take a chance of it happening while Viki and Kevin are around. But Peter, it's my job to protect them. I love them. I couldn't stand it. I did anything at all to hurt either one of them. No, I've protected them, or tried to, at least up until now. And continue to do so. I'm sorry, I just can't tell Viki now. If you're a friend, you won't either.
I have to wear these bandages again. The least you can do is put on a little flair, a little class. Do you have any other colors besides white?
I think you should just concentrate on keeping them on. You had them all messed up again this morning.
Now, you be nice to me, or I'm going to throw you in this bed, and I'm going to wrap you in bandages, and then I'm going to get out the back door. Decent meal and a little scotch and water, and I'd be ready for dancing tonight.
Oh, so now you're ready for dancing.
If you find a doctor who's walking around here with no clothes on, it means that I've made good my escape.
I'm very happy to turn it over to you. It's all yours.
You're certainly feeling good, aren't you?
Well, I'm just sorry you have to see me like this. They won't let me wear my own clothes. Silly. That all you get? That kind of kiss for grandfather. I'm going to get to see Brian.
Well, why do you say that?
Jim's weeping, I can tell. He's practically promised. Just wants to check with you first. Hey, what's Brian doing today? Maybe you could stop by the second. I'll tell Mr. Moore that you're here. She knows I'm coming. She sent for me. Right. Well, I'll tell her you're here. Okay?
Good morning, Miss Abbott.
Morning, Mrs. Gordon. Great place you got here.
I'm glad that you like it. Sit down, please.
Thank you.
Would you care for some coffee?
No, thanks.
Anything at all?
No, thanks. I'm fine. I've got to get back to the banner. Earn my money, you know.
Yes, of course. Well, then I won't keep you long. Mr. Abbott, I asked you to come this morning because I need a favor from you. It's a very important favor. One that I promise you I will never forget.
Sure, what?
I want you to forget everything that you saw yesterday in Mr. Riley's office.
Can you attack Joe, man?
I want you to forget that it ever happened.
I'll have some more coffee and check, and I think we'll be all set, okay? Oh, you want some more toast, Bird?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You really are a toast freak, aren't you?
Well, how'd you know that?
Well, I remember from the past. Also, when you were over at the motel, you kept swiping the toast from the breakfast tray.
Boy, you never miss anything, do you?
Well, that's part of my training.
Well, I guess you noticed last night, didn't you?
What about last night?
Well, it was just great. I mean, Mom really had a good time.
Oh, sure. After working hard all day, she's got to come home and put up with you and me.
Oh, really? I could tell.
Well, I hope you're right. There we go. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Is there something?
What?
I can tell Mom's changing her mind.
What about?
You.
What makes you think that?
Well, a lot of things. Like, number one,
knew I was. And you better get used to it, too. Because once we're married, we're... Come on, sweetheart, what's the matter?
Nothing. Nothing. I was just thinking that if you hadn't gotten yourself into that accident, we would be married by now.
I hadn't got myself. The guy that hit me